Don't let tomorrow's solutions get stuck on today's obstacles. Help move what matters at Iowa State. Iowa State students have big ideas.
My name is Cam Schaefer. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Spock's Sanctuary, which is a exotic companion animal rescue, and we provide other services in education and nutrition.
And it all started with a little help from cyclones like you.
I thought at our age, life would slow down.
Not with everything we need to coordinate.
My overtime, his basketball league,
My podiatrist and her PT,
his colonoscopy.
her allergist.
We need to be in 2 places at once, which is no problem, because the Iowa Clinic has over 40 specialties all in one place. So when our doctors want to coordinate our care, they just talk to each other.
Our doctors work together to figure out the best care for us, so we can go back to our busy lives, juggling our doctors, our careers.
Our grandchild.
Care how you want it. Visit iowaclinic.com.
What is up, my friends? Welcome to a little pregame. Let's talk Iowa State and Baylor. Let's look at the other games going on around the Big 12 as well, as it's been an eventful day. I think it's been an eventful day. Kansas really didn't have any problems with Houston at home. The Kansas being an underdog at home thing was kind of wild to me. I understand why Vegas had to do it, but that was a little bit ridiculous. I am really impressed with Central Florida being 4-5 in the Big 12. To me, maybe the biggest surprise of the year, I think, is Central Florida at this point. Texas gets its third road win in the league, which is crazy considering they're 4-5. 3 of those wins coming on the road. So that was notable at TCU. And Kansas State's slide continues. Ever since Jerome Tang lost his mind in Ames a few weeks ago, Kansas State went into that game 4-1. They are since 0-4, and they're currently 4-5 in the Big 12 Conference. Right now, second half going on with Cincinnati, Texas Tech, and BYU, West Virginia. Both of those games are on ESPN Plus right now. This is what I hate about it. I don't mind the ESPN Plus thing. I just wish there was a way to, have it incorporate into your YouTube TV. I was out there working a little bit, and I didn't even I thought those games were tonight because they weren't showing up on my feed. I hate that. Got to figure out a way to beat that. Coming up tonight, listen, this Iowa State Baylor game it's really interesting for a lot of different reasons. Baylor just got that win at Central Florida. I just got done talking about them, which is a quad 1 win for Baylor to go on the road and win that game earlier this week. And that was huge for them because they had previously lost 3 straight. We all know that Scott Drew is a really good coach, that this Baylor team, while it is just 4-3, I believe, in the Big 12 right now. Yeah, 4-3 in the Big 12. It's got the talent and the coaching to potentially get to a Final Four. I don't think it's that team this year, though. I really don't. I'm not saying that Iowa State is going to go on the road and win today. The thing about Baylor is you look at the analytics, and they are the number 1 team in the country at 3-point shooting. Whereas Iowa State struggled this year defensively around the 3-point line. So tonight's game really, I think, it reminds me a lot, if we're being honest, of the BYU game earlier this year. I don't love the matchup, but if you get them on the right night, and the shots just aren't falling, you could steal one from them. And we saw Cincinnati do that at BYU earlier this year. The other good thing tonight for Iowa State is that Otzelberger and this Iowa State program tend to play very well against Baylor. They scout them well. This is a good matchup for them in general. Now, I would also, that was the last 2 years where you're trying to slow the game down and get into a rock fight. now you want to run and, do the way Iowa State does. So the matchup is vastly different than it was. I still think, and watch me be totally wrong here, I feel like tonight is a better opportunity for a win than Tuesday night in Texas. Just being the second game on a road trip. Iowa State is not flying home tonight. They are going to stay in the state of Texas for Tuesday's game against the Longhorns. So listen, I think if you want to get one tonight. You'll be more rested, all that stuff. But I don't like the matchup here, especially these good coaches. It's like today's game, the Kansas game today. You looked at it, and Kansas had lost like 2 of 4. It just felt like Self would have the team ready. I feel like that with Drew. Again, not that Iowa State won't be ready. It's just if these two teams were playing in Hilton, it's a totally different deal. But being on the road, just the way Baylor likes to play, Baylor is not a great defensive team this year. One of my, if you're betting on the game, I would have played the over. I think that Baylor defensively is not nearly what we expect from these Baylor teams. It's just a totally different squad than you think of those ones back in like the 2013, 14, those types of teams. It's just different. I feel like Iowa State will be able to put the ball in the hoop, but it's just the perimeter defense, and these teams have really proved to be kryptonite for Iowa State so far this year. So I will absolutely pick Baylor to win this game. But again, I think if you're going to get one of the two, which is going to be tough to get one, if you split the next two, you are that's perfection for Iowa State. If you could just get one of these two, I feel like Texas is going to be really hard. Not going home, staying in hotels, just it's tough. Life on the road in this league is really, really tough. You guys don't need me to tell you that. Let's look at the schedule coming up just a little bit. I haven't done this too much. Then you get TCU at home, and you have to go to Cincinnati. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty brutal out there right now. We're doing a little scoreboard watching right now, and Cincinnati leads Texas Tech by a point with about 9 to play. That would be huge. That would be huge if Tech could get a home loss in a game where they were a 6 or 7 point favorite. Because Texas Tech, the rest of the way, has the easiest schedule in the Big 12. I do not think they will be there. I think I told Bloom this earlier in the week. I don't think they're good enough, even with the easier schedule, to be there at the end to win a Big 12 championship. I just don't buy it. We'll see. I don't buy it. I think it's Houston, and then I think Iowa State and Kansas are right there with one another. Even though Houston lost today, they're really good. They were losing that game. They weren't going into Allen Fieldhouse and winning that one today. Houston's good, but they're not that good, like where they can just start sleepwalking into these things. Scott asking me, I don't know, Scott. Would a win put Iowa State in sole possession of first place? Let me pull up the standings. I'd have to look. I tend not to do too much of the standing thing until we get closer to March. But if Texas Tech loses and Iowa State wins, yes, Iowa State would be in sole possession of first place. If Texas Tech would somehow beat Cincinnati, which that's a really good game right now, but that would be different. But that would be a huge movement in the Big 12 if Cincinnati goes into today 3-5, could win at Texas Tech. So if you're killing time before tonight's game, I'd flip it on ESPN Plus to that one. I currently have on the BYU West Virginia game, but I need to flip that over and do that. Yeah, I'll pick Baylor, but again, I like Otts versus Drew. TJ seems to have really good game plans for these teams. I like the fact that Iowa State had a week to prepare for it. There's a lot of stuff that make you feel pretty good about Iowa State's chances tonight. It's only like a 2.5, 3-point spread. I don't think this Baylor team is as good as ones in teams past. But again, they have the ability to go off and hit 15 threes in a game. If that happens, you're just simply not going to be in the cards. We'll see. It'll be a good game tonight. I'm excited. Wish these games were a little earlier. I don't like night games because I'm getting to be an old man now. But really fired up. Let's get after it. Enjoy the game. I will be here afterwards, so you guys can come on in and let's have a beer after the game and hang out and chat about everything. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much for watching here on the Cyclone Fanatic social media pages and also the Cyclone Fanatic YouTube. We are presented as always by our friends at the Iowa Clinic. Go Clones. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll be here post game.